Do you want to know what the top landlord objections are when it comes to Airbnb arbitrage? Because in this video, I'm going to break down exactly the top objections that you are likely to get from a landlord when you are pitching Airbnb arbitrage. By the way, I personally have a portfolio of 18 short-term rentals, 7 of them which are on the arbitrage side since 2019. So I have over 5 years of experience just specifically on the subleasing model, and I've helped hundreds of my students secure leases from landlords, and I'm going to break down exactly how you can get your first yes in the next 30 days or less. Let's jump right in. The first thing I want to acknowledge is that it's going to be a numbers game. Don't have the expectation that you're going to call landlord and on the first time they're going to say yes. Has it happened? It has happened. It does happen. Is it common? No. If you are a real estate agent and you are cold calling homeowners to see if they want to sell their home, you might get 1 in 30. Or 1 in 50. If you are a wholesaler, someone who buys contracts and assigns the contracts to people who flip houses, same thing. You're going to have maybe 1 in 50, 1 in 80, whatever it is, right? It's a numbers game. Same thing when you are implementing the subleasing model and calling landlords to see if you can rent their property and re-rent it. It's going to be a numbers game. That's the first thing, is I want to set the right expectation. That is tip number 1. The second part is you want to make sure that you let go of any attachments to the outcome. Anytime you are attached to the outcome of the conversation, you're going to have a very difficult time in calling landlords. So what do I mean by letting go of the attachment? Even though you are committed to getting a yes from a landlord, don't be upset if they say no. Don't be upset if they say they're not interested. And every once in a while, you might get someone that gets a little upset or hangs up. Again, don't take it personally. Just know that every time you call a landlord, you are getting your reps in, you are getting better, you are getting wiser, and ultimately you are getting closer to that first yes. So again, let go of the attachment and just focus on progress, not perfection. What is the most common objection that you're going to get from a landlord? One of them is that they don't want people going in and out of the property. Typically, when a landlord lists their property on platforms like Zillow or Redfin, they are typically looking for a tenant who's going to sign a 12-month lease and live in the property for 12 months. They don't expect for people to be coming in and out of the property. Now, on average with my Airbnbs, we have anywhere from 4 to 8 bookings per month. I sometimes get 1 week reservations at a time. And if I have 4 of those in a month, then I only have 4 check-ins, and that's 28 days. Sometimes I have people staying for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And sometimes I have people only booking 2 or 3 days at a time. The point is, I always have 4 to 8 cleanings and 4 to 8 check-ins per month. And sometimes that could be a bit of a concern for landlords. They feel like there's going to be more wear and tear. But here's how you overcome that objection. Landlord, let me ask you a question. When somebody is living in your property for 12 months, how many times do they typically deep clean the property? The reality is almost never. People who live in their homes that they are renting, it's not their property. They don't prioritize it as if it was theirs because they're just renting. They know they're going to be up and out of there maybe in a year or in a couple years. They don't treat it as their own. So they do not deep clean the property. On the other hand, yes, we have groups of people coming in and out of the home. That said, every time there is a checkout, it is in our best interest for the sake of the guest and for our reviews and to maintain superhost status such that every time somebody checks out, a deep cleaning is done. That means that if there was anything that needed to be cleaned that would have stayed in the little corner and built up over time into maybe mold or whatever, it's going to be handled during that deep cleaning. Can you imagine what your home would look like every month if there was 4 to 8 deep cleanings per month? Sure. Ma'am, landlord, and they're going to be like, you know what? You're right. Having, 4 to 8 deep cleanings per month is going to ensure that this property stays in for sale condition. So that's how you handle that first and most common objection. The second most common objection is, how do I know that I'm going to get paid on time? I'm sure with your, short-term rental business, you're going to have some high months and some low months. Like, I want to make sure that I'm going to get paid each and every month the fixed rent that I'm asking for, the fair market rent, which in this case, let's say it's $3,000 a month. So here's how you overcome that. That's a great question, landlord. What we're going to do is I'm going to set up the property on auto pay so that you get paid not just on time, but days early each and every month, and we will put that in writing. On top of that, when I do initiate that automatic transfer, that automatic rent payment, I'm going to provide you with a copy of that automatic payment so that you have it for your records. So no matter how my business is performing during the highs and the lows, you're going to get those $3,000 a month guaranteed each and every month. Okay, there you go. You overcame that objection. By the way, guys, if you guys are enjoying this video, make sure you guys smash the like button. So this way more people can watch this video and understand how to speak to landlords. Here's another common objection that you may get from a landlord. They might say, well, Jorge, this all sounds good so far, but what about a permit? Don't you need a short-term rental permit? And here's how you handle that. That's a great question, landlord. Yes, we are going to need a short-term rental permit, which I will make sure to get it under my name directly with the city. And if there's anything that we need from you, I will make sure to get in communication with you. And if there's whatever the fees are or renewals for the permits, I will be responsible for those as well. And that is how you handle that objection. Now, here's another objection that you might get from landlords. You see, sometimes these landlords are moving out of these homes and going into their next home, but Sally and John, the neighbors, maybe they are really good friends who they've known each other for maybe over a decade. And they might say, well, Jorge, how do I know and how do we make sure that you maintain a great relationship with Sally and John? I don't want them to be upset because there's people coming into the property. So here's how you handle that objection. Landlord, not only am I going to introduce myself to Sally and John, I'm also going to introduce myself to the neighbors across and behind. So if they ever want to communicate directly with me, they can. I'm going to explain to them about our corporate housing business and how I'm going to ensure that the neighbors are never disruptive and that we maintain a great relationship with them. I'm also going to make sure to let them know that I will always advise my guests to park in the driveway so that they don't take up any of the street parking that they might be using. I'm personally going to give them my business card, and this way, again, they are in direct communication with me whenever they need to. That is how you handle that objection. By the way, if you guys are enjoying this video, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. And if there's another objection that I didn't yet handle, why don't you guys let me know in the comments and I'll make sure to personally respond to each and every one. Here's another one that will definitely support you when negotiating with landlords. The reality is for many of them, this is going to be a little uncertain because it wasn't what they were anticipating. So I always say, hey, landlord, one of the things that we can do that we welcome with our landlords is to do a walkthrough. Maybe every 3 to 6 months, you are welcome to come see the property just so that you can see how we are maintaining your property in pristine condition. You'll see that they might come once, and then after that, once they see that the property is being deep cleaned, they're not going to need to come back anymore because they see that you're maintaining the property in a for sale condition. The other thing that you can also mention is it's very typical to have a rent increase every year, depending on where you live, for 3, 4, 5, 6%, which again, it's not going to make a huge dent in your bank account, but it's going to give them the confidence that over time and with inflation, they can make a little bit more each and every year. And again, for you, it's in your best interest to keep your business operating for many years to come. You want to set it up one time, ideally operate for the next 3 to 5 years in that one property, so that way you can get a higher and better return on your investment. With that being said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, follow me on Instagram where I post content each and every day. I also have some links in the description where you can learn about my Airbnb Academy. I'll see you guys on the next one.